On today's Las Vegas Speaks, Las Vegas City Councilman Brian Knudsen. From the Nevada Film Office, Danette Tull. Let's talk finances with Dr. Ron Thomas. And the Mayor of Henderson, Nevada, Debra March. On today's Las Vegas Speaks, hosted by Dawson.
Hello everyone and welcome to Las Vegas Speaks. We are a show that highlights influencers in the Las Vegas area. I am Dawson and I will be your host for today. And the first person that I will be talking to is Las Vegas City Councilman Brian Knudsen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Guy. I really appreciate it.
How long have you been a councilman?
Almost 2 years now.
What inspired you to run for city council?
So I love Las Vegas. I live in Ward 1, right off of Rancho in Charleston, and have seen the growth of Las Vegas, and firmly believe that if you want to engage in your community, if you want to give back, there's a space for you. And so this was a space that was open for me that I tried really hard for, and I wanted to improve healthcare in our community. And so this area that I represents University Medical Center, Valley Hospital, the new incoming UNLV School of Medicine, and I saw it as an opportunity to really talk about how we can improve healthcare as our community grows.
Had you ever run for a political office before you ran for city council?
Never in my life. I worked for the city of Las Vegas for 9 years, so I kind of understand the city. I had a good, deep understanding of how the city operates. And then I've worked with a lot of our nonprofits in our community, and I've worked with the county and the state. And so I wanted to try my hat at kind of pushing that button that ultimately makes the decision. And it's easier for me to get meetings now. I can call people and they're going to come. And so that's really useful when you're trying to improve such a big topic as healthcare.
A lot of people hear about their city councilman or councilwoman, but may not know what they do, their day-to-day responsibilities. What are some of the things that you are responsible for?
So I can tell you today, the reason I'm dressed like this is because I did a ride-along with our Department of Public Safety officials. Our Department of Public Safety, which is about 130 officers in the city of Las Vegas, patrols our parks and our facilities. I wanted to have a better understanding of some of the challenges they face. Homelessness is one of those biggest issues and challenges that we face as a community. I would like to say I can spend all my time working on solutions for those who are experiencing homeless, but I have about 115,000 people that have their own issues and wants and needs, and so traffic safety comes up a lot. People's fence height comes up a lot, construction of new facilities comes up a lot, and so my job is to meet with those constituents and understand how they feel about their community, meet with those developers or their stakeholders to figure out what they want in the community and figure out if there's compromise, and at the end of the day it's pushing a button in the city council meeting that allows for or doesn't allow for growth in our community.
You talked about speaking with your constituents. What are some of the types of questions that people ask you when you are out in the community talking to them about things related to our city?
So the most common question I get right now is concern about traffic. I wish people drove better. We don't have the best drivers, I think, right now in Las Vegas. So more stop signs, more speed humps, that's a really common concern. A lot of our business owners, our small businesses, are really very concerned about our growing population who are experiencing homelessness. And so my ability to talk through how we can leverage our police resources, our community resources, and hopefully build out an infrastructure that supports a population that is experiencing homeless. Those are the most common questions I get. The second round, I guess, of questions are people who are excited for or concerned with the growth of our community. Southern Nevada is going to grow by about 500,000 people over the next 10 years, and how we grow is of great concern to a lot of the folks living in Ward 1, the area that I represent. The people living in neighborhoods who have been there for 50 or 60 years, and they're afraid of change, and I totally understand change. And so it's my job to kind of listen to them and try and figure out if there's a compromise between what they want to stay the same and how we can grow as a community in a way that's most effective for Las Vegas.
What's it been like serving as a city councilman in the pandemic?
Weird. I imagine for everybody else, it's weird. I didn't know how to approach it, and so I tried really hard to reach out to as many people as I can to say, what are your expectations of me? What do you want me to be as a council person? Because it's redefining our role, I think. So right now there's an expectation that I talk a lot about vaccines. And I try to do so. I also represent the Southern Nevada Health District, so I talk about the importance of vaccines. I talked about the importance of mask wearing to stop the spread of COVID. But ultimately, I really wanted to make sure that our businesses could survive through the pandemic. That's how we keep people employed. That's how we keep food on the table. And so I did my very best to reach out to those folks who are experiencing, who are distraught because of the pandemic, and try to figure out what my job is. The city and the county and the state and every other elected official was also doing the same thing, is how do we expand opportunities for businesses to stay afloat so that people can stay employed.
And you had mentioned before the reason why you ran for city council was because you wanted to make a difference. Now that you've had some time to serve, have you fulfilled your commitment to yourself? Do you really feel that you've been able to make a difference in the lives of Las Vegans?
So there's a couple of things that I'm doing right now that will have long-term impacts. Unfortunately, government doesn't move as fast as we would want. Healthcare doesn't move as fast as we would want. The American Rescue Act, the act recently passed by Congress, provides a lot of opportunities for our community to go after federal funding that could build out the infrastructure that we need. In my time as city councilman, I'm really proud to say that we opened up a federally qualified healthcare center as part of the health district, and I serve as the vice chairman of that organization. We're currently serving about 2,000 to 4,000 people a month, providing extra health care. One of the things that I'd really like to see in the next 5 to 7 years is a children's hospital. I think we need to do a much better job in our community of providing health care to children. And so that's one of the areas I really spend quite a bit of time, of my personal time and my work time, which kind of blend together, is thinking through how the city can be engaged with the university and the county and the state on building out the infrastructure for health care. The American Rescue Act, I think, is going to speed up that process a tiny bit.
We appreciate you being a part of Las Vegas Speaks today, Councilman Knudsen, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with more of Las Vegas Speaks.
There's more to come, so don't go away. We'll be back with more of Las Vegas Speaks. The problem in the market is that although you save and save, that old 401k and taxes is just destroying your retirement. Contact us at the Thomas Consulting Group, LLC, for a free, no-obligation financial literacy and financial needs analysis. Don't let not knowing destroy your hard-earned retirement. Contact us today, the Thomas Consulting Group, LLC, where you can leave a legacy. Welcome back as we continue with Las Vegas Speaks.
We are back with more of Las Vegas Speaks, and my name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host. I am with Danette Tull. She is a film resource coordinator with the Nevada Film Office. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Can you explain what you do in your position with Nevada Film Office?
What do I do? What do I not do, right? As you notice, the title is sort of a catch-all, so it's connecting people to resources that they need while filming in the state of Nevada, helping through the location scout process, the permitting process, any kind of multi-jurisdictional troubleshooting that might come up between different government agencies while people are shooting. Sometimes navigating complaints, but it's a little bit of everything and anything, to be honest with you.
We were talking off air a little bit about what you do, and I was mentioning to you that we have so many movies that are done here in Las Vegas, and most people don't realize that there has to be a coordination. There are a lot of things that have to work together in order to be able to film on the Strip or some of the other places in the city.
Yeah, no, that's right, especially with the larger projects. And I just want to note that our office helps with all kinds of projects. It's reality shows, still photo shoots, shows like this a little bit. If you guys needed our help getting B-roll on the Strip, we would be able to help navigate that for you, and motion pictures. So also television commercials are really popular. But yeah, all those things require a lot of coordination with, you know, sometimes, like you said, Public Works and Las Vegas Metro and sometimes Fire Department. We were talking off air about Jason Bourne that shot here a couple years ago, and that there was a big high-speed chase that took place on Las Vegas Boulevard and culminated in the crashing into the Riviera Hotel, which that little scene took 18 months for us to coordinate with the production, because you have to involve the hotels and figure out how you're going to shut the Strip down and coordinate all the rigging for the cars that all crash together. So there's a lot of moving pieces and parts on a production that size that you don't think about, and it's all those names that you see scrolling at the end, which everybody should stay and watch to the end, because those are all of us and all of you guys getting the credits. Those are jobs, and that's the important thing that our office does, is it creates jobs and economic impact to the state of Nevada.
You had mentioned that you're a woman that wears many hats in the role that you play for Nevada Film Office. What is your background? What prepared you to be able to be so multifaceted?
Oh gosh, well, it's interesting that you asked that. So My background has nothing to do with film, but all of my experiences, my job experience, have been public service and public relations type positions. Anything from, I was a librarian for a while, so I was connecting people to resources in the library. And then I was a concierge here at a Vegas hotel, which was connecting people to resources in the city on the tourism side. And now those skill sets just jumped over here to film, which is now connecting people to production resources in the state. So that's pretty much it. It was all kind of learn as you go. And, you know, when I started, I didn't know how to get a permit or how much it cost or who you need to call, but it was a baptism by fire, and been doing it 12 years now.
And I would imagine a role like you have, you meet some very interesting people. Who are some of the interesting people? And you don't necessarily have to give us their names, but what types of people do you meet coordinating all these interesting opportunities for films in Las Vegas?
Yeah, most of it we deal with the location scouts and location managers. Those are the folks that sort of are, you know, scouting where they can shoot the project. A lot of production meetings come through. We meet people that have films or projects in development, producers, directors. You know, like, again, I'm referencing Jason Bourne, but we met with Paul Greengrass, and we met with the location management department for that movie and worked closely with them for several months. But it's not as high profile as you'd think. It's a lot of dealing with their handlers. So it's more dealing with the handlers of the more celebrity talent
Yeah.
and on the production side.
I'm a PR person. I can totally identify. People think that you're the one that's, a lot of times you're working with people who are handling the people.
I'm not meeting Jason. I'm not meeting Matt Damon, you know, but I'm meeting all the people that work with Matt Damon. So, yeah.
Now that we're getting to the other side of the pandemic, what is the demand like for films in Nevada or in Las Vegas specifically?
Yeah, for sure. We've seen a lot of, you know, it's almost like the floodgates have opened, right? All these productions were on hold and waiting in the pipeline for this thing to kind of come to an end or get to a point where we could do production here safely. And it's getting busier. There's a lot of interest. In fact, during the pandemic, we were provided with some opportunities that we wouldn't normally have had. For example, Love Island, the reality show, filmed all in the Cromwell in a COVID-safe bubble, and they were looking at filming in Fiji, right? Fiji was the Love Island, but because we were all closed, the shuttered hotels provided an opportunity for that show to come and film here. So we're looking at all those projects that have been, you know, waiting, and now they're all coming back. So,
you know, we live in the entertainment capital of the world, and you have a very interesting job. Would you trade it for anything?
You know, I wouldn't. I like where I landed, and I enjoy what I do, and I love connecting people and networking people, and I love promoting our state on the big and small screen. So,
well, it was a pleasure to have you as a part of the show to share some of the happenings in the world of film here in Las Vegas.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
And being in a city that is the entertainment capital of the world, it is fantastic to hear that films are coming back. Things are on the rise here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm excited. Stay tuned.
There's more to come, so don't go away. We'll be back with more of Las Vegas Speaks. Don't let impaired credit prevent you from achieving your goal of home ownership. Genrise, the leader in credit education, provides an online credit masterclass. The class demystifies the complex areas of credit by providing a comprehensive view of consumer credit, credit bureaus, and credit scores. Genrise provides simple tools to help improve your credit scores. To sign up for the online credit class, go to www.genrise.com. When you think about your image or your brand, it means everything. So when you think about world-class public relations, think about classy communications, helping you improve your visibility in the marketplace. Welcome back as we continue with Las Vegas Speaks.
You are watching Las Vegas Speaks, the show that features movers and shakers in Las Vegas. My name is Guy Dawson, and I'm your host. And I am here with Dr. Ron Thomas. He is with Thomas Consulting. Welcome back to our show, Reverend Doctor. I know you are a man of many talents.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited about the conversation that we're about to have.
one of your biggest talents is that you are in financial services. You've been helping a lot of people for a long time with living benefits. Would you like to speak to those?
I'm grateful for this opportunity to share what we do as a whole. Thomas Consulting Group is an independent financial service company. We have the pleasure of working through Freedom Equity Group. They've given us a product that I believe is second to none. Living benefits is something that most people, if they're fortunate enough to have insurance, have never heard of. These living benefits, give us the opportunity where we know that, individuals have critical illnesses, heart attack, stroke, cancers, but sometimes their life insurance policies don't pay out when people get sick. Someone has to pass away, and then the beneficiaries, their relatives, get those resources. But with living benefits, a person can have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, survive that, and are able to become the beneficiary of their own policy while they're going through those physical ailments, those treatments. So it's a wonderful product that most people haven't even heard about.
I know as we spoke recently about these services that you offer, tied into the unpredictability of you coming down with some chronic disease that you didn't expect to get. It happens to people every day. You go to the doctor, you get a diagnosis that you didn't expect. How are you able to help people when they get that diagnosis? What level of comfort do you offer them with your services?
Well, once again, critical, chronic, or terminal illnesses, once they're diagnosed by doctors, that person, that's our client, can contact us. Because remember, we're not just insurance salesmen. We are financial service consultants. We're with our clients for the long haul. We want to make sure that we don't just sell a person a policy and we never see them again. We want to make sure that we're with them along the way. So if in the event one of our clients would have such a devastating travesty like that, we would file a claim against their living benefits or against their death benefits, receive those resources, and we'll be able to give them a check while they're living, while they're going through, whether it's chemotherapy or recovering from a heart attack or stroke.
Retirement is another aspect of financial services that you're involved in. Would you speak to some of the ways that you can help people to create greater stability as they prepare to retire?
Absolutely. To the listening audience, we want to make sure that you have someone, you don't have to have a portfolio of $500,000 or $1 million to have a financial service consultant. And what we like to do is do free financial needs analysis for individuals that are returning back to work. We just had a pandemic and people have to manage their resources and their livelihood. And so we do free financial needs analysis for individuals, and then we help them plan for their retirement. We don't want anyone's retirement being lost to the volatility of a market. So we help them to make sure that we put them in fixed index annuities or IULs and things of that nature, which is an index universal life policy that ensures that by the time they retire, they have a nest egg that's not up and down based on market volatility.
And not only are you able to help people with their retirement needs and with living benefits, you also offer a financial opportunity that can help people to run their own business to an extent on the side. And will you talk about the opportunity that's available to do exactly what you do?
Absolutely. If this pandemic has shared with us and showed us nothing, it's that we need multiple streams of income. And for that person that might be entrepreneurial minded, not even having financial service experience, we are offering an opportunity for a person to come in, learn the business, become a licensed financial service professional, and have the affordability to care for your family members and have the freedom and the luxury, to do such. Unfortunately, we know that Mother's Day was Sunday, and my mother passed away on Monday. And this particular business has given me the opportunity to be able to care for my mother. It would have been devastating if I did not have some of the benefits and policies that we're talking about right now. Going through the grief and the hurt and the loss and the pain of losing a loved one, I can only imagine the financial stress, that I would be under if I didn't have some of these things in place as we deal with the grief of the loss of a loved one. So I want to talk to our listeners. I don't want anyone struggling and suffering with the care that's necessary to take care of someone. We need to get a plan in place.
My condolences for the loss of your mother, and I would say that now you're able to offer a very convincing testimonial about the value of the services that you offer.
Absolutely. Once again, please don't allow yourself to be without a living benefit. Don't allow yourself, to go through the pain of having to deal with caring for a loved one and the financial burden that comes along with it.
Any other suggestions that you have for people out there who want to learn more about what you do? Please share your information with them.
I would just tell them to call me, 702-325-8476. Again, I'm Ronald Thomas with Thomas Consulting. This opportunity is through Freedom Equity Group. I would love to mentor you, coach you on how to become a financial service professional.
Dr. Thomas offers services that are essential in the community. You never know what is going to happen in terms of your health. He also offers a financial opportunity as well as securing your retirement. Let's take advantage of these wonderful opportunities that are offered by his company.
There's more to come, so don't go away. We'll be back with more of Las Vegas Speaks. The problem in the market is that although you save and save, that old 401k and taxes is just destroying your retirement. Contact us at the Thomas Consulting Group, LLC, for a free, no obligation financial literacy and financial needs analysis. Don't let not knowing destroy your hard-earned retirement. Contact us today, the Thomas Consulting Group, LLC, where you can leave a legacy. Welcome back as we continue with Las Vegas Speaks.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Speaks, a show that features the movers and shakers here in Las Vegas. My name is Guy Dawson and I'm your host, and I am here with the Mayor of Henderson, Debra March. Welcome to our show, Debra.
Thank you, Guy. It's a pleasure to be with you today. It's a beautiful day in Henderson.
How long have you been the Mayor of Henderson?
I've been Mayor of Henderson since 2017, and prior to that I was a council person, and I started as a council person in 2009 and served from 2009 to 2017. And 6 years prior to that I was a planning commissioner. All the time that I was actually serving at UNLV, I directed the Real Estate Institute in the College of Business for 16 years as well.
Why did you decide to step up and serve at the level of becoming Mayor of Henderson?
Well, I felt like I had an impact, but I believed I could make a greater impact in the leadership role as a mayor, and could deal with planning and land use and quality of life issues that I believed were important for our community. And so I had an opportunity to throw my name in and to pursue the seat. And I ran. I think there were 7 or 8 other individuals who ran for mayor, and I was very fortunate to have been elected.
Along with being the Mayor of Henderson, you are also the chair of the Regional Transportation Commission. What are your responsibilities in that role?
You know, as chair of the Regional Transportation Commission, I think it's important to work with the other entities in a regionally collaborative way to address the transportation needs for Southern Nevada, whether it's on our surface transportation or whether it's transit and putting people in transit, in buses, or in how we move them across the valley. But then also there are a lot of other areas that we're responsible for. The RTC is actually the Metropolitan Planning Organization, so we are responsible for doing regional planning for all of the entities because we all are connected and we all work together to ensure that there's seamless connections on our roadways and in our transit systems.
And we're getting to the other side of the pandemic. With you being the mayor of the city, what are some of the visions that you have now that we are returning to some type of normalcy?
You know, I've been a strong believer in good planning, and you have a plan and you work that plan, and we've been very fortunate as a city to have been doing strategic planning and comprehensive planning for some time. We have some strategic goals as a city, which include economic vitality, community safety, livable communities, high quality education, and high performing public services. So all of the things that we pursue, whether it's in our comprehensive plan or in our sustainability plan or in our smart city strategy or economic development strategy, are all married back to our strategic plan. And so we are all working together to, in economic vitality, for example, to pursue industries and businesses to help us to diversify our economy. In community safety, making sure that our residents feel safe in the community and that we're one of the safest communities in America. And certainly livable communities, making sure we've got great parks and trails, open space, and that we support a quality of life, and that we celebrate sports and activities, and really engage our community in a more meaningful way. And certainly quality education, because you can't have a diverse economy without having a quality educated workforce. So it's very important that we ensure that we have educational opportunities for all of our community, and certainly for our children. And then, of course, high performing public services, which comes back to our employees, making sure that we have the best employees and that we provide them with the resources that they need to be successful here in Henderson.
A lot of people might not realize that Henderson is the second most populous city in Nevada. What is it like being the leader of such a large city with such a diversity in industries and people? What is it like leading in that environment?
You know, I think it's a true responsibility, and I think it's important to be mindful of what the needs and the wants and the priorities are of all of the community members. You're obviously not pleasing everyone all the time, but it's important to do good outreach, to hear what our community cares about, what they need, what they want, and how we can look at our community in terms of making sure that we have different varieties of housing types, making sure that we have a park or a trail within a mile of every home, you know, looking at all of these things that matter to a community. Henderson is a city of about 340,000 people, and actually recently I read something where we're in the top 100 largest cities in America. So we're actually a significantly sized city across the United States, and we have a lot of big city issues, but we also maintain a small town feel in our community as well.
Big things are happening on Water Street. Will you talk about the revitalization that is occurring there?
You know, we've been working for a long time to revitalize Water Street, and we've had a couple of projects that have come down here that have really made a difference. TSK Architecture made the first investment in a mixed-use project. We had Juan's Flaming Fajita come in here and make an investment in our downtown. And then when Lifeguard Arena made the commitment with the city as a partnership, when we worked with the Golden Knights to bring a facility down here that ultimately would be the home of the Silver Knights, it really, I think, triggered a lot of other investments. So we're seeing a number of mixed-use developments happening down here, new restaurants, a couple of brew pubs. There's just a whole new energy that's happening down here. And in fact, tonight on Water Street, we're actually going to be opening our plaza, and we're doing that in conjunction with a Golden Knights viewing party as well.
We appreciate you, Mayor March, for stopping by Las Vegas Speaks.
Thank you.
And Las Vegas Speaks is concluding with our interview with the Mayor of Henderson, Debra March.